Okay, now we're live. Sorry, guys.
Hello.
Our countdown. I forgot to push the live button. Oops, technical difficulties. I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties today.
Well, how much snow have you gotten so far? Because we in Chicago, I've shoveled about 14 inches in the last 2 days in my house. Not me, my husband.
It's nice. It just started here, so it started snowing just a little bit before 5. But it was supposed to be like an inch and a half or something crazy like that.
I got 0 inches.
Lucky you.
I had to put on pants.
Oh, is it that cold?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, they're thin cotton, jammies, but what are you gonna do?
How do I sound without the headphones?
You sound good.
Good. Okay, I'm gonna go without tonight. So now we got a really good storm, and then we sent it to you, Dara.
I know. Of course, too.
That's right.
They're saying possibly 18 for us.
18 inches?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Whoa. Well, I just hope your power doesn't go out in the middle of this wonderful, wonderful Groomer's Cut.
Yeah, well, I don't think we have to worry about power here in Portsmouth. It's been the only time we've lost power here has been because somebody hit a transformer. So unless somebody runs into a pole or something, I think we're pretty safe here.
That's great.
That's the one thing nice about being in the city. Now, where I used to live, you could sneeze and we'd lose power.
I hate that.
Yeah, it was all the time. So anyway, all right, everyone, welcome to the Groomers Cup. We got our chit chat down and got the technical difficulties. Hey, anybody, if you see any problems with the Academy Facebook page, let me know because I got booted off. I was just talking to Michelle.
Your school.
It's my page, and I don't even exist on it anymore. So I don't know if it got hacked into or I don't know.
I have heard Facebook is doing a lot of purging and of rewriting of algorithms and looking for search words to bump people, and you should probably pursue that.
Yeah. Yep. I'll try. Michelle gave me my number, so I'm gonna see if I can get somebody. Maybe tomorrow.
And hi, Lori. Lori says lose power if you think about losing power. So don't losing power.
Yeah, she's right on the coast. She's right off the water, not too far. So, all right. How's grooming been?
We are busy today, and I'm so excited. I hired a new groomer today. Hallelujah.
Oh, yay.
And guess who it is? It's Melissa Caniglio, who is Adorn Standard Poodles. She is a major show person. Now, she lives very far. She lives about an hour and a half away, but she's moving closer, and she's going to commute for a while. And oh my God, it's another show dog. This is like a gift from the heavens above. I'm so excited.
So how did you connect?
Facebook, and I show miniature poodles, and we've been friends on Facebook for a long time, but that's great.
All right. Yes, I'm going to say Groomer Gent Melissa is very sick.
Oh.
So she won't be joining us tonight. She is
resting.
She's her and her husband are sick. So I'm sure she'll be watching, but she didn't want to come on tonight. So we
love you, Melissa.
Love you and miss you.
Yes. All right. So tonight,
Groomer Jen says that her grandmother-in-law lives in Glencoe, where my shop is. Groomer Jen, wow. Tell her to, we'll talk. Facebook me.
Yeah, I'm a little slow tonight. Oh, I might let you guys run the show tonight. I am just not on it today. My head is spinning.
You're always on it.
Oh, this today just about kicked me. I know. Talk about energy. Today just about kicked me.
Oh.
Yeah. It was all computer energy. Everything with my paperwork for the military and renewal. Oh, I just
but can I just say this to you, Dara? Thank you for being a school that works with the VA to give people who come out of the military a wonderful career opportunity, like coming to your school. It is such a healing and nurturing thing to go to work with animals. And by doing the paperwork that you did today, you are giving some people who have served our country under the most difficult circumstances this wonderful new opportunity. Having taught at a school that used to take VA program money, I can tell you for the people that do get it and attend, it's a godsend. Thank you.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. Well, that puts it all into perspective right there.
That's
because I was hemming and hawing today, and I was even talking to him like, I just don't know if I can keep this up. It's down to, he said, I'm going to have to hire somebody to right hand me for it, because it's too much for me to keep up with on top of all the other school paperwork. So we've gotten that size. So I guess that is a good problem to have.
I also do want to pause here and just say, people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand what it takes to run an actual diploma recognized school by the state.
Yes.
What Dara does is invaluable to us. We, as instructors and teachers, we can teach all day long, but she makes us that much more real and that much more credible to the powers that be. So I do want to take a moment and say, you know what, Dara, without you, we really don't have what we have today because of you and because of the foundation that you put down for the school. That is priceless to me, especially. It's priceless.
I don't think
you're worth it, and we love you, and we need you. And
thank you
for all the things that you do that I don't want to do.
It gets. Cindy takes a lot. She came in a couple times, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, just no.
I got nothing left.
I don't think most people know that grooming schools are, to check. We actually had a very prominent school in Illinois that was shut down by the Attorney General a couple of years ago. I used to teach there part-time, where because they said they were accredited, they said they were, credentialed, licensed by the state and all that, but they weren't.
Right.
Yeah. It's a lot. I'm doing this and turning around and restarting it for the state. So every year it's time to move on. So my energy, that's where it is right now. It's going to be back tomorrow because, ladies, oh my gosh, everybody at the shop, we have worked so hard. We have a 2,000 square foot grooming, finishing room, and bathing room for the students now. Separate. It is
fantastic.
So tomorrow's supposed to be our walkthrough for virtual. I've got 5 more virtual walkthroughs this week, and then the state virtual walkthrough before approval.
It's bigger than my whole house, just so you know. I have a 1,700 square foot house, so that's fantastic.
That's just half our space. We've got Michelle knows we've got 4,000 square feet.
That's a lot of room they have.
Grooming shop.
I'm glad to see that the salon in front and the student area is separate, but together in the same building, so that when they are ready, they can move up to the flow of an actual salon experience. I really think that's important. Having that opportunity in a school environment to actually step up before you leave school and be a regular groomer for a minute so you understand what that flow is like, because every salon is different. I've worked in a ton of different salons, and if you're in the game for any length of time, you also will have worked in many different salons, and you see that, each of them has their own unique flavor and culture and flow, and how they like things done. So I think that giving them that opportunity, Dara, is so important for a school, rather than just having them power groom, with one shampoo the entire time and then throw them out into the world. It's a unique experience at the whole pet. It absolutely is.
It's come a long way in the last year, I will tell you that. What we have done just since meeting you a year ago, the leaps and bounds this has made is incredible. And I said to Cindy today, I was like, every time I feel like I'm getting 2 steps, I feel like, knock back a couple more. And she's like, stop it. Look at what you've done.
Yeah,
Look at what we've done.
snapshot of when we started,
Look
when
at
you
it.
started
Yep.
to now. The before and after is incredible, and the only direction is up. We can only keep improving and continue to provide
Yep.
quality education, for groomers around the globe, should they want to join us. So.
That's a beautiful.
Yeah, we're getting a lot more contact. So keep an eye on my Facebook page if you get anything come in, because I can't see it.
Yeah.
So one more step in there, but that really does talk a lot about the self-awareness, the energy, their surroundings, and what we are doing in these shops and even at the school, creating the space that, like you said, when you knew came in right away, it's too much. It's too much to have groomers and the students and the instructors, and that separation is making it a world of difference for the energy that flows through the facility now.
Mm-hmm.
I think the dogs are going to see it.
Divided bathing, drying, and grooming, hair cutting rooms. And it is so much less stressful, and it's so much better for the dogs and the staff and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you do it if you're getting stressed personally? What do you do? How do you do that? Because I know I'm stressed. I can't hide it.
So I have built into my life things that just de-stress me, that I just do religiously because I have to. I have a massage every Tuesday night for an hour to an hour and a half, every Tuesday night. And I have outdoor walks every day, except for the last 2 days where it's been snowing a foot or more. But, I walk outdoors. I live 4 doors away at the end of the block and across the street from a beautiful, huge forest preserve with big lagoons. They have bike paths around. I either bike or I walk, or I take my dogs on a walk. I find walking and fresh air and nature, and then regular massages. That's how I do it.
Regular massages.
Yeah.
I do massages every Saturday night. That's at the end of my week. And then I have 2 days to enjoy it and recuperate. And then in the moment, if I'm in the salon and things are getting to me, I literally will just stop what I'm doing, put up any dog that I'm responsible for, and I'll go outside and take a walk around the block, or take some deep breaths, maybe refocus and fold towels, or go clean something, and just to get my mind right again, so that when I approach the pet and take it back out of the kennel and put it on the table, that I'm better. I'm offering a better part of myself to the pet, rather than somebody who's stressed out. So
that's wonderful. I think one of the things that I watch of my staff, those people who haven't yet, they're not young, they're not mature enough yet, or experienced enough yet to have learned how to handle stress. I know a lot of them handle it in ways that actually make the stress worse, like they smoke. They go out and they take a smoke break, but by being smokers, or by going out and taking a Dunkin' Donut, or a Dunkin' coffee or something, they either consume massive unhealthy calories, or they smoke, or they do something that is not, they think that it's their de-stressor, but it's actually so unhealthy for their bodies. So I just would encourage whatever people choose to do. I love that so many of us are doing massages. I cannot tell you how life-changing. Committing the finances, just building it into my budget.
Absolutely.
And finding the really good guy.
All my first grooms on Tuesday morning go, that's my massage money. That it's automatic. That's comes out. That's mine for nobody else but me. Yeah, I do monitor my staff very well, because I do know their strengths and weaknesses, and they probably know mine by now. But I know right when they'll either make a sound that I recognize, or they'll make a face that I recognize when I see that they're under stress. The dog's getting too much for them. They can't get a toenail. They're reaching in and not really making a connection. My owner will actually go, "Rrr." And once he makes that sound, I can stop what I'm doing, because he just gets frustrated, and he is a very large human, and just the most gentle, most loving soul. But he realizes that his hands are very large and he's older. So they're like mine. They don't work very well. So if he's trying to manipulate a small part of the ear or make a bow or something, he can get crazy irritated and frustrated with it. So once I hear that, or he'll go, ugh, and that's the beginning of it. So I just stop what I'm doing. I go over there and I help him get him over the hump, and then he starts smiling again. Then I have another one who will get a look on her face, but she just has a certain look that I know when I see that face, that's how her stress begins. And I nip it in the bud. And if you can nip it in the bud as early as possible, just to alleviate the stress. Sometimes you just need somebody to come in and do that one stinking foot or help you finish out the other side of your top knot. I mean, it's no big deal.
That's right.
It's no big deal.
That's
And somebody saying, no, it's my dog. I have to finish it. And I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
So I help everybody here. I said, and you get help too. You're allowed to have help.
Yeah.
And I'll step in and just go, and they're like, oh my God, I just needed that one thing. They just get a block or something. And you just need to step in, get them over the threshold of it. And then everything calms back down again. It's no big deal.
And that is why I will never groom alone ever again. Yeah. I mean, I've done it before. It's not good for, it's not good for that, even that human dog rapport. Dogs really do read us. And if we are stressed, they get stressed. And I've actually, there are times when I've been in shops that I didn't own where we would be like crazy busy on a holiday week and trying, and at the end of the day is coming and people coming to pick up their dogs and we're not done yet and we're all racing. And people will invariably say, how come the dogs always behave so badly when we are in the worst hurry?
Because you're in the worst hurry.
Because we're in the worst hurry. And they are reading our stress level. The more stressed we are, the more the dogs, which we now have the science that proves that the dogs are reading us. Mm-hmm. They are actually feeling what we're feeling. It's called that they feel in contagion. That's what the scientific term is. And they actually have proven it in laboratory studies. The dogs feel what we feel. It's not just being able to read our emotional states.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So we really have to manage our own stress level in order to be able to be a dog groomer. This is not like working with coffee cups here, people.
Right.
Yeah.
These are live animals who feel, and it's the species. If you're working with dogs, not cats, if you're working with dogs, you are working with a species that is co-evolved, our brain to their brain, co-evolved to be brains together as species. We have a unique, unprecedented relationship on the planet. No two other species are actually physically co-evolved. Totally separate species, but co-evolved in relationship with each other. It's awesome when you think about it, but it means the burden on us to not be under stress while we're working and finding ways to manage the stress while we are working is so incredibly important.
And I want to work wherever Facebook user works because I would like my assistant to rub my butt also to calm me down. That is my dream.
I was getting ready to go
That's
there.
amazing.
Yeah, makes it happy.
Wow. Shout out to your assistant. I know. When you do rub their ears, the dog's ears, then on their rump, on their special place, sometimes that's all it takes to just settle them down a little bit and tell them, hey, we love you still. It's difficult, but we'll get through it.
I do this spot. A canine masseuse taught me to do this spot between their eyes like that. That was,
I like doing that on my cat.
Oh, yeah.
He loves his little smushing face there being scratched.
But I definitely have heard the rub works.
Actually, in the T-Touch program, you learn that rubbing the pinna in a circular motion like this can actually bring them out of shock. That's how much it stimulates their nervous system and soothes them. So, I mean, you might remember that. And also, when you are touching their ears like that, if they're calm enough to be touched, if you rub them vigorously, it short circuits their brain to not think about the toenail being trimmed so much as they're just being pleasure centers are being stimulated by rubbing around their ear. And you have to imagine when you get a massage, right around your ear, your neck area, because you're constantly putting all your stress there. Well, for them and their movable ears, they actually have stress on their scalp, on those muscles. So if you can get in there when you're facing them, or even from behind, and give those muscles just a big rub or a soothing, or touch them, the ones around the jaw especially, because all they do bark and chew, these never get touched. So sometimes when you just apply a little pressure and put a little bit of pressure right there and a little motion, you can soothe them. Also, right here at the base of the neck. If anybody who is near a dog or afterwards gets near their dog, feel the musculature around their neck area and around their ear area. You can feel those readily. And once you do and start petting them, and you have to understand, if your calf muscle is really tight and someone tries to massage it, it hurts. That's sometimes how tense they are here. So if you just gently rub that spot or scratch it a little bit, that really will help bring them down, and it soothes them. It takes that tension, that lactic acid out of that muscle.
Oh, that's so fantastic. I love it. Facebook user says that every one of their nail trims comes with a head rub and goes 1,000 times faster. That's awesome.
It does. It makes a huge difference.
That's great.
Yep. And Christy Appleby.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's why dogs fall asleep while scissoring the face, right? Where and how you hold the head makes them so relaxed. I have learned, rather than to try to grip their beards or something, that I'll slide these two up around their ears and just support their jaw. I didn't realize, Michelle, until you described that just now, why that worked so well.
Yeah, I usually train them, and I put my hand under their jaw like this, and I'll just gently lift it up, and then I'll manipulate it back and forth like this, but I don't hold them. Only when I have a really bitey dog that is trying to be recovered from their fear or their anger, will I take as much hair as I can on the top part of the jaw and the bottom part of the jaw, and just take as much and hold it firmly against their skin so they don't hurt themselves yanking. And usually the more hair you take, the more they'll settle, because that also stimulates all those muscles. When you teach a dog to turn in the tub, it literally, you either teach them pull their butt out towards you and in, or a lot of the larger dogs don't understand that. But if you put your finger right in back of their jaw, that's a huge pressure point. And sometimes you can put 3 fingers there, depending on the largest of the dog, and just push gently, and you can just lead them around, and they'll just turn in the tub just by that one little pressure point. And then you thank them. You're like, oh yeah, that's a good dog. Turn. And then by the 4th or 5th groom that you do for them, all you do is go turn, and then you just turn in the tub. So it's just a little bit of training that you can do while you're grooming. And I just picked that up from doing it so many years, and I don't even remember who I got it from, but somebody must have told me that. I didn't come up with that on my own, but somebody did, and that's how I actually trained the dogs over a period of time.
I do think that one of the other things I've been verbally saying about stress this last few months a lot, both as an employer and as a family member and as just a friend in the community, is that, given the incredible stress of this global pandemic, this worst in 100 years, staggering crisis for humanity, where all of the world has changed so much so quickly, and so many people are struggling so horribly. And, I just got off the phone with my mother, who has Alzheimer's and is living in a senior community, and she can't be with me, and you can't explain to her why, and she cries, and it's just heartbreaking. Like, there are so many ways that people are hurting right now, and so many ways that we're stressed. And so forgiveness is it's the pandemic. All is forgiven. Like, customers come in and say, I'm so sorry I was late, or I'm so sorry my dog's this mess, or whatever. And I just say, look, pandemic forgiveness. I'm actually just saying pandemic forgiveness, because we just all have to cut each other 20,000 kinds of slack right now.
Except when people come in and show their rear end and are not sorry for it and don't care and just want to push you around, then I'm not allowing that. I'm only allowing good feelings between everyone in my presence. I don't think it is detrimental to my health to have to deal with someone who will not be soothed, who cannot be reasoned with. Then you have to go. Then you just have to go and collect yourself, go to your room till you can act normal, and then you come back.
I've only ever had one client like that in the last 7, almost 6.5 years since I've been open. And I've only had one like that, and I just send him on his way. And I'm totally with you on that. Life's too short. Life is too short. But, I think everybody else, when they come in, it's usually some frantic apology. And I'm like,
oh, yeah. If they come in, sorry, I will forgive them as long as the day. Absolutely. Just whatever. As long as you're here, you're in a good mood, you're not yelling at me, and you're taking care of your dog, we have no argument.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to address the science behind leashes that control the muzzle and the head. Any slip lead that is put up right under the jawline and held semi-taut, that will absolutely control the biggest dog. It's when you let the slip lead go to the bottom of the neck that you're going to have a problem, because that's where all their shoulder muscles are. And they can muscle you around all day long, down to a Jack Russell Terrier. They don't care. But if it's up here, this is where all their pressure points are, behind the neck, on the top here, right under the ear. So if you have a slip lead and you make sure that it's at the top of the neck, you will absolutely have more control.
And if you watch the dog shows very closely, that's exactly what they do. The handlers will actually, after they've got the dogs stacked up and the judge is looking at them, and then they say, take them around, they will all stop and take the lead, lift them up around the jawbone, because this is bone too, right?
Yeah.
And they slide the leashes up, the slip leads up. They all show dogs in slip leads, nothing else. Usually it's like a Resco or a Martingale. And they put it right under here and they pull it up. And then when it's up behind the head, that's when they take off and start running.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Good
stuff. People say we do teach something.
What do you do, Dara, to de-stress?
He screams and runs around in a circle.
Sometimes I feel like, in The Shining, when the when he's standing in the hallway goes really long, I feel like I'm in that, and I'm like, oh, which door do I go in? Yeah. It's been different here. I used to be able, when we lived in Stoddard, going home was such a relief. It was so quiet out on the lake, and it was so nice. And now we don't, it's living in this, it's not really a big city, but we live in town, and there's a lot of hustle and bustle constantly. So lately I took the break for the first time in easily 17 years, but I took off, I think it was 18, 19 days in an actual row. And we finally went away. That was the first time. Typically since then, we've been doing longer weekends. But now I find I work all week. I usually work Monday through Friday. And Monday through Thursday, I'm up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, wrapping up paperwork, finishing up paperwork. But then come Friday, when my husband comes home, I usually don't do anything until he goes back to work. Mm-hmm. So I kind of have those hours to just kind of not work. Mm-hmm. So I give myself that. But I need to keep plugging away right now. So,
all three of us are in really good marriages. Mm-hmm. And all three of us are very blessed in that. And I think that whatever other people's significant others, if you have a significant other, don't take them for granted. Don't just, my husband is the kind of guy, he'll come to me and he'll say, stop what you're doing. You and I are going to go sit down and just have dinner together, just the two of us, because we don't get to be together enough. And I just love that he is like that. And that is really important to do as well. Find relationships, good, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's a spouse, whether it's just make a friend and, really go and just do other things. My husband is a trauma. He teaches people. We're both in the victim community. We both have had murders in our family. Bill's a excellent teacher on trauma. He's written a book called What to Do When the Police Leave, A Guide to the First Days of Traumatic Loss. He teaches and trains crisis responders and victim advocates and law enforcement and first responders. He's an amazing guy. And he teaches them about trauma. And one of the things that you have to do to manage trauma and stress in your life is to just do non-job things with non-job people. You need another life, right? You need to get away from it, whatever it is that you're doing, and just go do something different in a different place with different kind of people. That's really on a regular basis. That's really important.
Gosh, I don't know what that would even be at this point.
I know. I'm seeing that because the horses are really calling. My time in
I've just still
Florida.
got another semester and then a practicum to go through. And then maybe the light will be at the end of the tunnel. And I want to go back to Groomer Jen says, can we protest retractable leashes until the cows come home? Retractable leashes should be burned on site. They should be banned. They should be pointed at and derided and denounced at every given opportunity. Okay.
Absolutely. True story.
No, Can I ban them? Can I really tell my clients don't bring a retractable leash?
Yes, you
I had it on our front door.
Really?
It says on our website, actually. I have it on our website to please.
I'm going to do that.
Bring your pet in on a retractable leash. Make sure it's locked.
Yeah, they're hideous.
I hate them.
There's no reason
so
for
much.
them. If you're going to have them on a long lead, get a 10, 20, 30 foot long training
leash.
Yeah.
Yep.
Horrible. Groomer Jen is right. Laughter is the best de-stressor. And actually, one of the things, Dara, I was going to say about you and what I seem to get from you, the few times I've been privileged to be around you, is you laugh. I love your laughter.
Oh, thanks.
You do.
I try.
You make me happy though, because you laugh. You find joy in conversation, and I love that about you. It's one of my favorite things about you.
Thanks.
We all need to laugh.
I love it. Jen says, oops, I broke your slip lead or your flexi lead. Here's a free leash. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Oops.
I love it. But yeah, that's a terrible tool. And it has caused more damage and more heartache and more death and injury than I can possibly express. They should be outlawed. If people really loved us who regulate these things, they would ban that thing.
Yeah.
So
it is, I've seen too much. People's hands being torn by them, trying to grab them. And
no, just it's endless. The list is endless.
A new Facebook group, ban retractable leashes.
Right.
Groomer Jen, you on that?
Yeah. Retractable leashes.
If there's not one already.
Yeah.
If there is, let us know. We'll all be on that one. Yep. I'm a 4-foot leash kind of gal.
And then my next but not as hated tool would probably be a harness. Some dogs do need harnesses, but the majority of them do not. They need to be trained first, and then they can wear a harness. So Angie nominates Jen to start the campaign. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Have a whole week on that, huh? We could have a whole month show on that.
Wow.
I could go on and on. I could fill it up.
I don't like harnesses either. There's so many of them, and people come in and I'm like, ugh.
Well, I mean, the dog is unruly, and they're like, well, he choked himself so bad that we got him a harness. I'm like, okay. So now he's just pulling on the harness instead of communicating with him and teaching him how to learn how to behave.
Yes.
Yeah. You've just said, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
whatever.
White people can't just use simple, this is the number of times that I have just stepped out on the sidewalk in front of my shop with somebody and just taken a very thin little slip lead of mine. And they've got these gigantic metal prong things all around their dogs and halters on top of prong collars. And they're using like 3 and 4 things to hold onto their dogs with. And I'm like, and he pulls all the time. I said, may I try? And I will take all of this gunk off of the dogs. I will put a simple slip lead around the dog's leash, neck. I will put the dog on my left side. I will say, Fifi heel, Fifi stand, Fifi stay, Fifi sit. And I just give them a little tug, when they all instantly do it. And the owner's going, how are you doing that with my dog? And I'm saying, I'm just using obedience commands.
And not only that, hold on, let me get pointed in the right direction. Look at the top left corner over here, the awareness of energy. You do it with your energy because Jennifer, you expect the dog to do what you want it to do. Yeah. You're insisting that the dog do what you want it to do. You're not hoping or praying or asking. You're like, this is how it's going to be for the next 2 seconds. That makes a difference. Your intent. Absolutely, your energy makes a difference.
And when I've had staff members see this happen and said, how do you do that? And how do you get the dog to behave when I can't? I say, it's my air of authority. I go, oh, it's my air of authority. But actually, it is.
It is.
Air of authority.
Everyone has it, whether they choose to use it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not the dog's decision.
Right.
Yeah, no, and the dogs know it, and the dogs want that rapport.
They're looking for direction. They are made that way, just like we are. We want to be a part of the community. We want to be doing the right thing or the thing that, we look to others. We're very social, community-based animals. We are, all of us. So that's why dogs mesh with us so well, because our societies, our cultures are very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. All right. Guys over there watching, anybody have any questions? Any more thoughts?
On this?
Yeah.
I like the one person actually said that they got their husband always would take the baby. And Lori said her husband will take the baby and tell her to take a nap. I love that.
I like Groomer Jen here. Dare should have a say on this. Yeah, ever try shoving a horse into a trailer?
Yeah,
I don't think you can. I don't think you have to convince it that's what it wants to do.
Yes. And Groomer Jen, we have a racehorse that doesn't like to travel.
Yeah.
And it takes our trainers 2 hours to get him on the trailer to go to race and a half hour to get him back on the trailer after the race when he knows, I'm going home now. He does not that's it. He loves being at the track. He loves to run, but he does not want to go in the box van.
And that cracks me up all the time.
Everything.
You'll have clients that come in all the time and say, well, he's just too big. And they have like a cocker or a lab. And I'm like, how do you think these horse people do it? They do it all day long, every day with a 1,200-pound plus animal. Because they communicate with them and they convince them that's probably what they should be doing.
Yes, but what we also do with the horses that I use a lot with the dogs is I don't look at them.
I don't look at them.
When I ask them to do something, when I want them to go whichever direction or into the tub, I look at the tub and that's where we're going. And they go, oh, okay, we're going in the tub. And they don't have a choice, like you said, because that's it. This is where we're going. But you see so many who are like, come on.
Well, they'll leave their position of authority next to the animal. Yep. They should be on your left side. And a lot of people go, well, it doesn't matter what side they are. And technically, no, it doesn't. But in a society with dogs that are being handled by more than their owner, if you have a routine that you can give them and walk them on the left side of you, you will give them a gift for everyone else that has to handle them. Absolutely.
Right.
And so I see a lot of people leave that position of authority because the dog won't budge. Yeah. And they'll turn around and look at them with a top lead and they'll be like, come on, you can do it. I don't put up with that shenanigans. I race them. my slip lead, and then I take my step. Bam. And if they hesitate, I keep the pressure on just enough to meet their energy. And then they decide, oh, okay, that's not going to let up. Let's go forward. Sometimes if they're afraid and they're looking around a lot and they're big and they won't stop, sometimes I'll look around with them like that. And then I'll jump like I got scared and start moving forward. And sometimes that triggers them to go forward. So you have to be creative. You have to get into the mindset of the dog. And if you're not communicating, how can you get into their mindset if you're just separate from them and not connected to them in any way? And that starts the moment they walk into your salon. The moment they see you and you take a hold of the leash, that's where the communication begins. That's where the story starts.
And that's why it's so important that amen to that, Michelle. Every groomer needs to have that air of authority. Every groomer, I think, should take, if you own a dog, go take an obedience class. To me, it's like basic literacy in our field. It's like trying to, live in society without doing certain basic, basic social literacy things. Just, it's like being able to vote or drive a car or, use or go to a grocery store or something. You just need to know certain universal rules of the road.
Like sometimes you have to put on pants. And it's irritating, but sometimes you have to do it because that's what everybody expects. Okay. And if you don't wear pants, then there's problems.
Yeah. It's rules of the road. And the obedience commands, everybody needs to know: heel, sit, stay, stand, down, come, off, and leave it. Probably those 8 things. Yeah. And those commands are universal. Dogs get it. It's like learning to speak the same language as the country that you live in. Yes. It's just the universal rules of the road. And if you are a dog professional who has never taken a dog through on your left side, and you've got to have the slip lead properly, so how do I do this? I need a slip lead. But you have to have the cord, it has to wrap around toward you so that you can make the correction, right?
Right.
Okay, this is how you do the slip lead. And I learned this, and it has become ingrained in me. As you're facing the dog, you want to make sure, if you're facing the dog, so on your left side, that's where you start drawing the big B.
Yeah. Right back.
So on it comes around, and then that's where the choker part is. So it should be a big B.
A B? I thought it was a P.
It could be a P, I suppose. It just has to be coming up on that side. It is a P.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's a P. Okay.
You make a big P out of it.
Yep.
And you draw a P, and that's how it goes onto the face. That way, when you pull on the left side, it has, not only will it snap tight, but it will also release very quickly down into the D ring.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Jennifer.
Yeah. So when you have a slip lead, this is a leash, right?
Yeah.
And you want it with a dog on your left side, you want the top coming over toward you so that when you correct, you jerk and this isn't slippery enough.
It's a super stiff lead. I can tell it's very new.
Yeah.
But with any regular, even with use,
if you do it this way, you're going to choke them. If it comes,
because it doesn't
if it points away from you, it's going to choke them. So a correction should be able to make jerk release on your left side. It's so easy. And once you learn to walk them always on your left side with their heads right at your left thigh, and always use those same verbiage commands and do it with authority, you're never going to have any problems with the dogs.
And when you face them, it's a letter P.
Yeah.
It's a letter P.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was. And I like what Angie said.
Yes. Down is not off. Off is don't jump on me. Down is lay down. That's right. Right.
We could send memos, emails, bumper stickers, t-shirts, and sweatpants. Absolutely.
We'll all be matchy. And then on top of it, with in the middle, a bullseye of no retractable leashes.
Right. Yes. And each clothing could have a different, each piece of clothing could have a different word, a command with the meaning. So you have your jacket, your sweatpants, your shirt, your socks, your shoes, your hat.
Can you see us going to the next grooming expo?
Oh my God, if somebody does that, I'll wear that whole outfit. I will wear the entire outfit. I'll do it. I'll do it.
I think, Angie, you're being nominated.
It's really true. This is also a way to manage stress, just to manage the dogs, to follow the rules of the road. If you are a dog care professional and you don't know this stuff, get thee to a basic obedience class immediately.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't even have to have a dog, just watch, right?
Yeah.
I don't even have to have a dog. I got to tell you a story. First time when I got Pixie, this was 2001. I was a baby, my very first little dog. Pixie weighed 2.5 pounds when I took her to obedience class, and they all laughed at me.
The size of a walnut.
She was the littlest, tiniest little peanut, and she was such a prima donna. She would not walk on the floor during our lessons. They almost failed her but I'm like, she does it at home. And this was like before you could record video stuff on your cameras and everything. So at the end of our last class, she would sit, she would stay, she would come on her recall at home. She did everything perfectly, roll over, all her little fun dog tricks. I brought her carpets. I rolled out a 6 by 8 foot carpet on their floor, and she did all of her tricks and everything on the carpet. She would not stay down. And the trainer goes, she's so close to the ground. She's smelling everything of every other dog that's been in here.
Go down. She's already there.
Yeah,
she was pick me up constantly. She was so darn cute. But yeah, we almost failed class.
Well, you did well for something with such a small brain.
You did for a dachshund.
Yeah.
But it's in the proper ratio of every dog. That doesn't give that dog any excuse.
No, my other one.
Brain is the same ratio no matter what size dog you have.
That's true. Right.
Unless you have a Great Dane, and then I just apologize. No, I think they're smart too. They're just big.
They are big. Yeah. And little drooly.
They're couch potatoes.
They are. Oh, we have an Irish Wolfhound coming in on Friday.
Ooh,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I had one and he passed. Oh my gosh. They're magnificent dogs.
They are. I thought I'm like the exact opposite. I like my little dogs. And then the first time I saw at the dog show, the Irish Wolfhound, I was like, oh,
I had a client that had 4 of them. I've got a picture in my portfolio of 4 of them laying on my grooming room floor.
Wow.
They're like, oh, we'd get 2 more if we could find the right breeder. I'm just like, okay, you got all the money. Okay.
Who needs a grooming table when you've got an Irish Wolfhound? You just stand on the floor.
Yeah.
Stay in there and do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This one's small. She's a little petite thing, but the one I had he was big. And my Leonberger, I had a 220-pound Leonberger.
That's insane.
He was monster. Oh, he was so sweet though. So sweet. So we have Liz has 175 St. Bernard, right? Yeah, they get big too. And they're not that big.
That depends. You know what? I believe in my heart. It really depends on what you put into them is what you get out.
Yeah.
I know that if you give all your time to your PlayStation, you get really good at that game. And if you put all your time or the majority of your time into your dog, you get this amazing companion that can read you. All you have to do is lift up an eyebrow and they know exactly what to do. It is amazing. Yeah. You get what you put in. If you're not putting in anything but giving them a pat on the head and throwing them a bowl of food every once in a while, that's what you're going to get. You know, if you don't teach a kid the multiplication tables, they come out kind of dumb. Yeah. And that's your fault. It's not their fault.
Yeah.
So you really do have to put into them, teach them, spend time with them, go over things with them so they understand. And then you get an amazing, amazing friend out of the deal, I think.
Amen. I love that. Frame that. Perfect.
We got a lot of frame. We got a lot of good quotes going on these days.
Mhm. Uh-oh.
We just lost Dara. Are we still broadcasting?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How do we broadcast without her?
I think I'm an
Isn't she the source of it? Oh, well.
I
Anyway,
think I'm the admin. She might have been cut off because maybe somebody ran. Oh, here she comes.
Sorry. I had my brace on because my hand's really bothering me,
Hit her
and I
camera, probably.
accidentally hit my hit
ah,
a button. So sorry about that. Yeah. So okay, I see.
Groomer
Oh yeah.
Chat.
Okay.
I try to rub my daughter's head like a dog when she's moody. It doesn't make her calm down, but it does make her laugh.
Goal achieved.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So next week we are moving on with creating a stress-less space. Isn't this what you wanted to talk about? You really, this is what you want to create, that stress-less space. So
I should take a short video to show everybody too of my home. I think that it says a lot about me, and it says a lot about, I really do practice what I preach. I've got one picture hung in my whole entire house. My office does have a lot of collector lithographs in it, but when I come home and I park my car and I come into my house, it literally is all monochrome. There's nothing jumping out. There's no tchotchkes. There's nothing. There's nothing on the wall, because you come from a world that you're thrown marketing and colors and buy this and this is better and this is not and blah, 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 blah. When I come into my home at night, I literally can close the door like a cartoon and it's gone. And I'm in a beautiful dove gray, sand-colored peacefulness that is very soothing. I wish if I ever built another salon or a school or anything myself, I would probably have those same tones, because it is wonderful for a jangled nervous system to de-stress. Don't go home and then throw on some rock music and start doing stuff and everything's screaming and yelling. I literally do get a half an hour when I come home that my husband's really not allowed to talk to me or ask me questions, even if he's excited. I need that time to not be a bossy boss, a manager of something, into, again, being his friend and his wife. If he does not allow me those minutes, we find out how terrible that ends up real quick. I really do have to make a transition from being in charge to just being his friend and his companion, or else we have a really big problem with it.
I wouldn't have thought that. That's great to know. So that kind of, I need that in the morning.
Yeah.
I
need a space for you to go to wherever it is that you get it.
Yeah, the quiet time in the morning. When I come home, I'm okay with it still being a little, but I'm not a TV person, so I tend to not have the TV or music on when I'm doing anything, and I like to work in the quiet. For me, I can't focus no matter what's going on. So I like in the morning, I like just it nice and quiet. I need that for my day to be more
I love the fact, Michelle, that you've created a visual peacefulness. And, I've created a visual peacefulness in my place I don't know if you can see around me here, but this room that I'm in is like my favorite place on earth. And it's covered, everything on the wall is a story of a happy memory. They're all places I've traveled or amazing parts of my history. And it's there's stuff in it, but it's all wood. It's an all wood room, and it's just so, and it's got a rock fireplace, and just being in this room with all of these amazing,
make your space appropriate for you. Some people love to be surrounded by their tchotchkes. That's really wonderful. And just a note, so you understand, my mother was an interior decorator. So my life, my growing up life was full of every nook and cranny was crammed with flowers and a leaf and a painting and a vase and a sconce and a picture. And then we moved it all every weekend because she had to redecorate every weekend. So for me, I scraped all that out of my life. I was like, okay, I don't need any of that. I don't need pictures on the wall. I need soothing blank places where my mind can rest. Yeah, I like this over here too. Can we discuss color with dogs?
I was going to suggest that.
Really like purple and lime green. Should we decorate paint our salons to cater to the dogs? My opinion is they don't care.
They don't care. Yeah, let's talk about color next week.
Yeah, we can do that.
That's definitely part of that.
No, absolutely. Dogs don't see as well as we do, nor do they see as many colors, although they do see some colors.
Yeah.
However, they don't really care much about colors. They care about movement.
Movement.
Eye is drawn to movement. So if everything is all fast paced all over, that creates stress. And they care about how you smell. Do you smell calm? And sometimes they will even taste you as well, because taste is married to smell.
Yeah.
So those things are probably more important than colors. The colors can be for you. Scent is really important. So if you're lighting candles and having all kinds of smells in the air, it's enough for them to just smell each other and us, I think. But you do you. Everybody's different, and maybe it makes your intent and your energy better when you have all that stuff around you. We're all different. We're all individual. They do care about sounds, especially too.
Yeah.
Right. And I like Angie, what you said about, just having that transition break when you come home, just like what you said to Michelle. That's so great. I'm going to start doing that. That's so great. Not walk in the door and say, my day or something, just 5 minutes of neutrality or transition to the home space. I'm going to take that advice. That's excellent advice.
And Groomer Jen, the only reason not to do anal glands in the salon is because we don't have any veterinary assistance. If something should go wrong, it is an internal organ, so we shouldn't be doing them anyway. For the salon people that says, well, I don't want them to release their anal glands while I'm drying them and stuff, or when they're on the table. And my answer to you would probably be stop doing things to make them express their anal glands on the table and in the dryer. They have to have peace. That is a mechanism of spraying and releasing scent to other dogs or other foes, if you will, to let them know, hey, I'm a dog, I'm afraid. Oh my gosh, here's the scent of my age and my health and my everything else. If you do anal glands on a regular basis, you ruin the anal gland muscle's ability to regulate it as the fecal matter passes through the rectum. If you only do it when they need it, because sometimes maybe they'll eat something and they'll become impacted or they'll become runny. So maybe that needs to be taken care of. But on a general basis, anal glands should not be done on a regular basis by anyone but the dog. Leave them alone. Leave them alone.
Amen. And I agree with Liz too. Peaceful music. We do that.
Yes. All right.
I think that's our
I'm going to wrap us up. I know we're getting good. We've gone from a half hour and having conversation for full hours and keeping people's attention. That's amazing.
Well, you know what we can do without you guys asking the good questions too.
Yeah.
So you are very inspiring.
Well, I love this series about stress and energy that we're doing. This is great. And next week it's going to be just creating a stress-less space. That's right.
Yep. And I might try to bring Latifa on again for our last week.
Great.
Or the next, because we've got, and then the week 3, recognizing emotional needs of pets and their guardians. I think that's really important.
Wow.
I think for me, that's one I really like catering to people, to customers. And, I think that's one thing I would, if I could be at the front desk all the time, that's where I would.
I
like that person.
No matter what. Angie says all you need is a cricket.
Yes.
That precious angel from heaven.
Oh my goodness. She is. So Barb Hoover would be a great.
Great. Thank you, Kim. That's a great idea. Well, I hope you all have a stress-less week.
Yes, I hope so. I am looking forward to being done with having this paperwork wrapped up.
And I apologize for this winter storm that we're sending you, Dara. I'm so sorry.
I was thinking I got a day off, but I might have to make the trip in. So they're saying I have to be on site, but I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. I brought my computer home so I can try to do it and put my curtain up and hopefully be like, oh yeah, I'm at work.
Everybody over in the northeast. Oh, bless your hearts. I love you. Stay warm. I hope you have plenty of fuel and plenty of food and warm blankets and someone to spend all those snowy nights with.
We just have one. We'll be back up on the road by tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
We're pretty hardy. I know. That's what I said too. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Another Groomers Cut. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great week. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dara. Thanks, Michelle. Everybody have a great week.